Okay, so why don't you introduce yourself to the audience? Again, the same character.
Greetings, travelers. I am Arion, a ranger of the wilds. I have walked the paths less traveled and seen the beauty and danger of the untamed places. I seek to protect nature and bring balance to the land, using my bow and knowledge of the forest to navigate and defend it.
Okay, Arion, so you are this green die right down here on the bottom left of the screen with the 6 HP. These four are enemies, they have 2 HP, and this red die with the face is the boss.
Understood. So I, Arion, am the green die with 6 HP at the bottom left. There are 4 enemies, each represented by a gray die with 2 hydrogen phosphides, and the red die with the face is the boss. What are my options?
Okay, good. So we won't be following any rule set. This will be free form. What do you want to do first? You see these four obviously behind this river, and there is this bridge here in the middle of the map. The boss seems to be in the distance.
Understood. Since there are no set rules, I'll use my ranger skills to my advantage. I'd like to use my skills as a tracker to see if I can discern any details about the enemies around the river or any specific weaknesses before I move.
Well, the environment is open grassland. There is not much cover, so they can all see you, but they're not drawing their weapons or they don't deem you as a threat, but they do remain cautious judging by their behavior.
Okay, I see. So the area is open grassland with little cover, and while the enemies are aware of my presence, they haven't drawn their weapons, but they do seem cautious. Given this information, I'll take a moment to observe the enemies more closely. I'll move my character 1 square to the right and try to ascertain if they have any obvious weaknesses. Perhaps I can see if they have any obvious weak points in their armor, or if their weapons seem to be easily breakable.
They don't seem to have any long-ranged weapons. They seem to have short-range weapons such as swords, daggers, etc., and light cloth armor.
Very well. Knowing the enemies rely on short-range weapons and wear light cloth armor, I'll draw my longbow and prepare to engage them from a distance, using the terrain to my advantage. I'll move 1 square back to the left and try to target the enemy closest to the middle of the bridge.
Okay, so are you targeting this enemy where I'm pointing?
Yes, I'm targeting the enemy that is closest to the middle of the bridge as you are pointing at it.
Okay, so fire. Are you going to fire an arrow?
Yes, I draw an arrow, take aim, and fire at the selected enemy.
Okay, so he takes one hit. Because of that, the four are now taking a battle stance and running closer to the bridge to take cover.
Understood. My arrow strikes the enemy, reducing their health, and in response they take a battle stance and move closer to the bridge for cover. What is the enemy's current health status?
As you see it, each one has two, except for the one you just shot with an arrow. The boss also gets closer.
Okay, so the enemy I shot now has 1 hydrogen phosphide, the other 3 enemies have 2 hydrogen phosphide, and the boss is closing in. Given the situation, and knowing that my arrow struck home, I'll take aim once more at the weakened enemy. I'll pull my bow again and release another arrow at the enemy with 1 health.
Okay, as you shoot him, he is incapacitated, so we remove him from the mat. The other three remaining low-level enemies are now charging you through the bridge, one tile at a time. The boss remains distant, though close to the bridge entrance.
Understood. I've successfully incapacitated 1 enemy, and now the remaining 3 are charging me one at a time through the bridge, while the boss remains distant but close to the bridge entrance. Since the enemies are charging through a confined space, I'll attempt to use this to my advantage. I'll try to kite the enemies and pick them off one by one, moving 1 square to the left to create some distance. I'll then draw an arrow and take aim at the first enemy approaching me on the bridge.
Okay, so you take a shot at this enemy. He falls forward, taking 1 HP loss. These remaining two henchmen are now at the other side of the bridge on it. The boss remains distant but moves over to left as you did here.
Okay, so I successfully shot the first enemy again, and he is now incapacitated. The 2 remaining
He
henchmen have
actually
moved.
has He's not incapacitated. He is prone. He has 1 HP remaining. Okay, continue. And it looks like the AI has ended the quota for voice. So unless it continues and interrupts me, I will continue talking. And it was about perhaps maybe what a dozen or so back and forth dialogue. So, anyways, that was impressive. We had the AI mostly in this area here take out one henchman, and I was intrigued to see what happened continuing this little test run, but the boss was obviously up here, etc. So I'm gonna actually see if I can try to reignite the current conversation. 1 second.
but not incapacitated. He has 1 health point remaining. Given this new information, and that the other 2 henchmen are now on the other side of the bridge, while the boss has moved to the left, I shall move 1 square to the right and fire at the prone enemy to finish him off. Then
Okay,
I'll reassess the
sorry, interrupt. I'll use this pencil to help indicate things in the map. Continue. Go ahead. Okay, so I was typing at times, it would continue, but it wouldn't respond to my audio. So I'm going to leave it at that. This was through Google AI Studio. You can actually live stream your webcam footage, your voice, and it will talk to you back and forth live. So it was actually, I don't know if it was released today or very recently, but it's a feature I discovered um, through a tweet. So that was actually very intriguing to see how AI is, how far it's coming now to have a visual indicator and a voice uh, conversation with it while it's able to see what it's doing. Now, this was Google's, so I'm intrigued to see what OpenAI releases for their vision and advanced voice mode connect to real-time conversation with ChatGPT, as that was my original case, but Google kind of not really necessarily beat them to the punch, but it has a feature release that seemed to be a little limited on use of time, or if I just did something to mess up the process. But this was fun. It was just a short little test. I didn't expect it to go too long because of perhaps restrictions or something happening behind the scenes on their end. But let me know what you guys think. If this advances more in the future, I might, use a rule set. I might use a character sheet for the AI to reference. But this has always been a dream of mine since starting this channel is to use AI as a player while I would be the dungeon master. So that's really it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.